Right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Wahat, Rakah Kodash, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and other like-minded elders in Israel that teach well, by whom I learnt this truth for the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom, Wabarakim, to the hopeful elect. Brothers and sisters scattered throughout the four corners, doing their due diligence in all truth and sincerity. A salutation to the Akim labouring man, ministering week in, week out, highways and hedges, chief place of concourse, giving up their body as a living sacrifice unto Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. This is the brother Daniela, just on the way to the plantation, man. And I just meditated on a few things, and before I went to sleep last night, I was listening to the audio Bible. I listened to the book of Exodus, right? Because what's the Lord getting ready to do? The Lord's getting ready to do another Exodus, man, of his people, right? But an even greater one this time. And Salakia, I'm not got the scriptures in me, so I'm not going to pull any verses, but I'm just going to do a quick walk and talk. But Lord willing, it is edifying in some way, shape or form, right? Yeah, so like I was saying, the Lord's are getting ready to do what? To set his hand a second time, right? To gather the remnant of his people out of the land of the north, which is, according to the scriptures, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom, right? Babylon the Great, which is America, right? But this time round, it's going to be a even greater delivery, man. And this time round, he's not setting his hand to gather all his people either. It's just going to be that remnant, man, which is the elect, which is the 144,000 governing leading body, and the mixed multitude, right? 1/3 of the nation of Israel, right? And we're edging closer and closer to that day, man, right? But I was meditating on is that we're getting closer to the Pesach, right? The Passover, right? It's just around the corner. And what I was meditating on, I believe it's in Exodus chapter 9 or 10, if I'm not mistaken. It might even be 11. I think 10 or 11 maybe, right? Where it speaks about, the Lord smiting Egypt with all these plagues, right? Just like the Lord smiting spiritual Egypt with all these plagues right now that we see, right? So, one of the last plagues that the Lord set in the land of Egypt was that, he told Moses to tell Pharaoh that the firstborn of every creature was going to what? Was going to die, right? And while the children of Israel were rested in the land of Goshen, right, there was no harm touching them. All these plagues coming down on Egypt, whether you're talking about, the frogs, the locusts, the hail, the darkness, right? The children of Israel were good, man. They were resting in the land of Goshen, right? And like I say, meditating on the Passover that's coming up, right, or the Pesach, right? Meditating on the Passover that's coming over, because we know that Yahweh Shai was that death angel, right, that took the lives of the firstborn, man, in the land of Egypt, right? He was the angel that passed over the children of Israel, right? And everyone that was saved was everyone that had that had smeared the blood of the lamb over the lintel or the top of their doorposts, right? And I was meditating on that because that's highly spiritual, man, right? And we know, like I said, we know that death angel was Yahweh Shai passing over, right? But guess what? The Lord's about to do the same thing again, man, right? And that's why it reads in the book of Ezekiel, the Lord told the angel to do what? To go and set a mark upon the foreheads of those that sigh and cry, right, for all the abominations done in the midst thereof, right? So, when you can really equate those two marks as the same thing, man, us smearing the blood of the lamb over our doorpost so that the angel of death, right, which was Yahweh Shai, would pass over and not consume the firstborn in those houses or in those properties, right? Guess what? The Lord's setting a spiritual mark, right, upon the doorposts, right, or the mind or the love of the men of the Lord, right, of the elect. And I was just meditating on that, man, because we know the Lord does things twofold or manifold, right? So what's the Lord doing again? He's smearing that spiritual blood upon the foreheads of the elect, man, so that no harm will come to them in the time of Jacob's trouble, right? And that's the time we're entering into, like it reads in Matthew 24th chapter, right? We're entering into a time, like that's never been before, or shall ever be, right? And that time is the time of Jacob's trouble, right? Which is ultimately is to try the elect of Israel, man. Right? We know that, yeah, every Jake's gonna be tried in that day, as well as these heathen nations, right? They gonna go through it too. But that trial is for the elect to be purified and polished, man, right? But the Lord is gonna, hey, like I say, man, the Lord is gonna set that mark, man, that spiritual mark up on the foreheads of the men that sign it, right? You know, and that was just something I was meditating on last night, man. That's something I was meditating on last night, because we know that the Lord doesn't change, and He always does things in a similar way, man. Right? He always does things in a similar way. But whereas that mark was physical in the land of Egypt, right? That mark that was set upon the lintel was physical to avoid a judgment. Hey, the Lord's setting a spiritual mark upon the foreheads of His elect this time, man. You know, and Lord willing, that mark is set upon our heads, on our foreheads, man, the lintels of our mind, right? Because what our minds are likened unto a door, man. You know, that's why Yahweh Shai knocks, right? And we answer, and He sups with us, right? So Lord willing, like I say, Adam Ratazar, that mark, that spiritual mark, is set upon the doorposts of our mind, man, so that no harm or judgment doesn't touch us in the time to come, man, right? Because we know, again, you know, when you talk about the physical mark in the time to come, we know that's going to be the charagma, the sea hip, which, you know, even yesterday Elon Musk have come out and said, you know, that basically they've started trialing this Neuralink brain chip, right, in humans, and apparently the first human is recovering well from it, right? That's what they say. Say, hey, we're another day closer to that physical mark on the left hand side, man, which you know, majority of people are going to take, especially if they haven't got that right hand mark, right, that seal of approval, if you will, right? If the Lord ain't smearing that spiritual blood upon the lintel of your mind in that day, man, right, you're more than likely going to take the physical mark, right, which is the mark of the, you know what, the MOTB, right? So, hey, man, that's just something. And as we edge closer and closer to that day, man, we want to make sure that we're doing all we can to make, you know, our calling of election sure, right? And like I said, with the Passover coming up, these are just things to meditate on, man, because we know, as well, that the Passover represents so much, man. And we also know that it's a solemn assembly, right? It's a serious time, man. It's a serious time to meditate on things, man. A serious time to meditate on the Lord and what He's done for us and what He continues to do for us, man. You know, something that we can't take lightly at all. So, you know, just something I was pondering on, man. This is something I was meditating on last night, and the Lord put it in my remembrance this morning. So, you know, Lord willing, is something for, you know, brothers and sisters to meditate on with the Passover coming up, right? Getting our minds right for that time, man. You know, trying to the best of our ability to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and the faith that is in Hamashiach, man. You know, so like I said, Salakia, I didn't pull any precepts, but Lord willing, it was exalting, edifying, comforting in some way, shape, or form, man. So until the next one, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Waharaka Kodash. I say shalom to the elect.